viewers, welcome all of you in Alka's Botany channel. Today we are going to learn photoperiodism, the concept and classification. I am Dr. Alka Inamdar in Alka's Botany channel. I thank all my viewers and subscribers. You subscribers and viewers really inspire me to bring up another great video. I promise a great botanical content for all the subscribers. So please like, share and subscribe the channel and keep supporting me. In the life cycle of a plant, there are three important phases: germination of a seedling phase, vegetative growth phase, and third one important, reproductive growth phase. The important characteristic of any living system is reproduction. To maintain continuity of the species, generation after generation, seeds are essential and the seeds are produced in fruits. So, the important aspect in the life cycle of a plant is the production of fruits and seeds. The seeds and fruits are produced when a plant reaches the reproductive phase in the life cycle. After attaining the stage of ripeness to flower, due to effect of some internal and certain external factors, several physiological, biochemical, histological and morphological changes occur in the plant body. When reproductive growth begins, the growing region shows changeover from vegetative growth to reproductive growth, due to which instead of vegetative bud, the region starts producing flower bud. The physiology of flowering is a very important process in the reproductive growth, and it is under the control of genetic, nutritional and physiological and environmental factors. Out of these environmental factors, light and temperature are important because from these factors the plant perceives or receives the initial stimulus essential to start the process of reproductive growth. Like vegetative growth, reproductive growth is also a complex process. Among these factors, light and temperature are important external factors affecting the reproductive growth and controlling the physiology of flowering. The effect of light is mainly the effect of length of light period or photoperiod, and therefore it is studied under the heading photoperiodism in the physiology of flowering. Light is one of the important factors controlling growth and development in plants. Because there are many processes in plant metabolism which are light dependent. Such processes are called photobiological processes. The concept of photoperiodism was first given by Russian scientists W. W. Garner and H. A. Allard of US Department of Agriculture, who have studied flowering in Glycine max variety, Biloxi variety, that is a soybean plant, and another one plant they have chosen, Nicotiana tabacum, Maryland mammoth, a giant variety of tobacco, in 1920. Maryland mammoth, a variety was a single gene mutant tobacco that didn't flower in the spring or summer like wild type. In case of Maryland mammoth variety of tobacco, they observed that the plants during summer show only vegetative growth and do not produce flowers even after attaining the height of 14 to 15 feet when grown under natural conditions. But if the seeds of the same variety are sown in the summer under greenhouse condition as well as during winter season under natural conditions, the plants growing from these seeds produce flowers after attaining the height of only 4 to 5 feet. In case of Biloxi variety of soybean, they observed that when successive sowing of seeds with 15 days interval were carried out from first week of June up to the last week of August, all plants, irrespective of their age, produce flower in the first week of October. That is, plants from initial sowing produced flowers after about 120 days and the plants from final sowing produced flowers only after about 30 days. After studying the effect of various factors on the physiology of flowering, with these observations, Garner and Allard discovered that relative length of day and night are responsible for induction of flowering in plants. They coined the term photoperiodism for the response shown by the plants to relative length of day and night. After finding out the photoperiodic requirements of different plant species, Garner and Allard classified plants into different groups. These are the types of plants based on photoperiodism: long day plants, short day plants, and day neutral plants. Now we come up to the critical day length, which is a photo period required to induce the flowering. It varies from species to species. There is no relation with total day length. In Xanthium, critical day length value is 15.5 hours and in Hyoscyamus it is 11 hours only. Though arithmetical value of critical day length of Xanthium is greater than that of the Hyoscyamus, in Xanthium it is of maximum value. 15.5 hours of day length required to produce a flower in Xanthium, but it is a tolerable limit, so it is called maximum value, that is plant can tolerate. While in Hyoscyamus it is of minimum value that is required. That means in Hyoscyamus minimum 11 hours of day period required to produce the best flowering. Now we come up to the characters or silent features of short day plants. A short day plant requires exposure to photoperiod shorter than the critical day length. If exposure to light exceeds the critical day length, flowering in SDP is inhibited. That is, they are very sensitive to the day length and night period. In short day plants, dark period is very important, more important than the light period. In short day plants, length of the dark period and its continuity are important in inducing the flowering. If the dark period is disturbed even with a flash of light, flowering in short day plants is inhibited. Therefore, short day plants are also known as long night plants. In short day plants, all photoinductive cycles required must be in successive manner without any interruption in the form of non-inductive cycles. The effect of photoperiodic cycle is produced only after exposure to minimum number of cycles. The critical day length is of maximum length of light period that plant can tolerate. Therefore, if it exceeds, flowering is inhibited. The critical day length indicates the minimum length of dark period or night period essential for induction of flowering in short day plants. The important examples of short day plants are Nicotiana tabacum, that is a tobacco, Glycine max, that is a soybean, Coffea arabica, that is a coffee, Oryza sativa, that is a rice, Zea maize, that is a maize plant, Cosmos, Bryophyllum pinnatum, Chrysanthemum, etc. Now we come to the characteristics or silent features of long day plants. Long day plants require exposure to photoperiod longer than the critical day length. If exposure to light is less than the critical day length, then flowering is inhibited in long day plants. That is, critical day length is of minimum value. In long day plants, light period is more important than the dark period. Some long day plants can produce flower even if they are kept in continuous light also. In long day plants, critical day length is the minimum value that is required by the plant for induction of flowering. If it is exceeded, plant flowers, indicating maximum length of dark period that long day plants can tolerate. In long day plants, every photoinductive cycle produces some effect which is retained by the plant. The cumulative effect from all such minimum number of cycles is used for induction of flowering. The exposure to non-inductive cycles in between favorable, that is inductive cycles, does not erase the effect and stored it is in the plant. That is, photoinductive cycles need not be a succession. It can be interrupted for the best flowering. The important examples of long day plants are Hordeum vulgare, that is a barley, Triticum aestivum, that is a wheat, Raphanus sativus, that is a radish, Brassica oleracea, that is a cabbage, Spinacia oleracea, that is a spinach, Avena sativa, that is a oat, Beta vulgaris, that is a beetroot, Hyoscyamus niger, that is a henbane. Now we come up to the characteristics or silent features of day-neutral plants. In day-neutral plants, the physiology of flowering is not under the control of photoperiod. Day-neutral plants do not require specific photoperiod for induction of flowering. Day-neutral plants can flower in all possible photoperiods. In some day-neutral plants, instead of length of day or night, the physiology of flowering is controlled by some internal factors that may be number of internodes in some herbaceous plants. Day-neutral plants can flower in continuous light, so they are also called photoneutral plants. Important examples of day-neutral plants are Solanum tuberosum, that is a potato, Lysopersicum esculentum, that is a tomato, Cucumis sativus, that is a cucumber, Impatiens balsamea, that is a balsam plant, Gossypium species, that is a cotton plant. Thank you. Thank you very much for observing this video.